Shaking, folks, back with another reaction, back with another Lucky Dip, and this is another Izzy-Dip. Big shout out to Izzy World once again. And the tune is called Those Nights, and it's by Bastille. I like the name Bastille, as a historian and someone who studied at least in some different areas and periods, European history. I like the name of Bastille as a group, perhaps. Perhaps it's an individual, but I would be more inclined to think group. Nevertheless, those nights, a designation of significance, at least by implication, some categorization based on maybe a period in history, like, remember those nights when we, lived there for that period, whether it's when you were at university or in your late 20s or, when you lived in your hometown. Or perhaps, what's she doing? You gonna come over here? You coming up? She's coming up. Well, so what's it going to be, my lap or the chair? Well, I'm second best, apparently. Nevertheless, I'm curious what the nature of the designation is, whether it's the characteristic of the nights and or the time period, or whether it's just, from a certain time and place, and therefore those nights, speaks to the larger experience. Either way, let's find out what it actually is. This is Bastille, the tune is Those Nights, and it's a track sent by a friend of the channel, Izzy World.
I can feel your eyes in the back of my head, burning, 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 floating through the room as the hairs on my arms are rising, rising, rising. I'm chemically drawn closer to you, eyes wide open. Will you be my future or just an escape? Love me, love me, love me. You'll never get to heaven on a night like this. Those nights when your friends are gone and you're holding on for someone to leave with. Those nights when you crave someone to be there at dawn, to wake with, 'cause aren't we all just looking for a little bit of hope these days? Looking for somebody you can wake up with. Looking for a little bit of hope these days. We are, we are. Pulling out my t-shirt, your hands everywhere. Rising, rising, rising. As you trip and fall, dragging me up the stairs. What's your name now? You try to get to heaven on a night like this, but you never get to heaven on a night like this. Those nights when your friends are gone and you're holding on for someone to leave with. Those nights when you crave someone to be there at dawn, to wake with. 'Cause aren't we all just looking for a little bit of hope these days? Looking for somebody you can wake up with. Looking for a little bit of hope these days. We are, we are. They cut a path across the room, a blinding look from me to you, and I'll be running in the headlights. We'll never get to heaven. I'll be running in the headlights. We'll never get to those nights when your friends are gone and you're holding on for someone to leave with. Those nights when you crave
Yeah, that's cool. It's another one, and shout out to Izzy for what I noticed in this second batch of tunes for Lucky Dips that he sent me. It's like an overwhelming positivity in a number of the tracks, and this is another one where it feels like, in tough times, it's the kind of tune where you might put it on just to, try to frame things and make you feel a bit better, and perhaps through that, approach things with a bit more confidence and, a bit more conviction that you're going to get through it and so on. It's that kind of tune. And indeed, it felt like that essentially was the essence. Now, I'm not quite sure because there were a couple lines where, like, you're holding on to someone that you're going to leave with. So, like, that line in particular, I wasn't quite sure, the way that fit in. But, a night where your friends aren't there and you're just looking for someone that you can make it through the night with and wake up with. And it's like, that itself would be indicative of hope, and perhaps that there are things to hold on for and to get through the difficult time with and for. So that seemed to be the general gist of the tune, but like I said, one or two of the lines made me wonder if I'm missing some key ingredient here. But even so, the overall positivity and optimism and hope of the tune absolutely came through, including in the sonics. I love his voice. There's a couple moments where he really did some special flourishes. I enjoyed that. Again, it was brief, but there were a couple moments where it sounded like a saxophone came in just to sort of caress the tune a little bit before letting the other sonics take over. So yeah, another cool one. And like I said, I'm getting the vibe that in this batch there was a lot of positivity through these tracks. So shout out to Izzy for that. Time wise, I'm going to say post 2010. I'm going to say in the last few years, maybe. I'll guess last 5 years, but again, this is a moderately educated guess, not particularly educated guess. But yeah, from Luca and I, let me know what you think of this one. Once more, shout out to Izzy World and all the other folks who sent me random tracks for Lucky Dips, including Nigel has sent some tracks that I'm going to throw into the mix. And again, Philip had the idea for the playlist to begin with. Adam has had some suggestions, and by the way, we are going to go through the Keen catalog. Shout out to Adam for suggesting that. Shout out to Philip for instantly making their catalog available. And yeah, like I said, there's a couple more folks. Stefan has sent a track or two. Herman sent a track or two. Like I said, Nigel has sent some tracks. So yeah, some tracks coming in that are a bit outside any particular deep dive. And I do enjoy this playlist precisely for the fact that I don't have to think too much about, okay, so what was the previous album like and so on. I can sort of approach these tracks with a bit more of a just let's hit play and see what this is. So once again, shout out to all the folks who've contributed. Do let me know what you think of this one. I will see you next time. Peace.